Police officers shoot and kill a man they say lunged at them with gardening shears. This deadly altercation happened Tuesday in Salinas, California, sparked outrage right there in this community and cries of police brutality. And the shooting was all caught on video. We have it here for you, and we'll warn you, though, what you're about to see is tough to watch.
Ven acá, ma. Ma, ven acá. Ma. Ama.
You hear the cry, "Mom and Akka." That means "Mom, come here." Protests erupting afterwards. Our Salinas affiliate reports up to 500 people flooded the streets and that officers dressed in riot gear were attacked with bricks and with bottles. CNN's Stephanie Elam has been following this for us. And as we mentioned, Stephanie, these allegations of unnecessary use of force here, if they even have responded, how are police responding to that?
Well, Brooke, I actually did get off the phone within the hour with the police chief in Salinas, Kelly McMillan. He says that these responses coming from the community that there was excessive use of force. He says they're understandable, although they may not be accurate. He says they do not have a lot of police-involved shootings, but acknowledge that there was this one on Tuesday and there was also one on May 9th that was very similar to this. But he goes on to say that this is just not something that happens there and that the investigation is underway. If you keep listening or watching this video, you hear a woman yelling, "Why not tase him? Why didn't you tase him first?" And the police chief tells me that they did tase this man, but it was not effective, Brooke.
Can we let's walk back a half step. Why were police in the neighborhood to begin with?
Well, they were called to the neighborhood, the police chief tells me, because of the man in the neighborhood. He tried to break into a house of a woman, and allegedly he then exposed himself, was choking her dog in the yard, was wielding this lettuce knife or gardening shears. He was wielding it out there. And so the time between that 911 call that came in from the community and the time that the man was shot was about 8 minutes. So not a quick response, but they were there because they were called there, the police chief is saying.
Okay. So then in the wake of the shooting, as we mentioned, the community, the uproar, tell me about the protest, what happened, how many people, what were they telling you?
Well, apparently it started very small on that corner where this man was shot, and it grew and grew and grew. You can hear horns honking when you look at some of the footage. You hear people out there yelling and screaming. At one point during this, a man was shot, and police responded to assist the man, trying to give him CPR. That officer was hit in the head, and they moved into a vehicle, an ambulance, to finish giving him CPR, take the man to the hospital. The man later died, and the issue there, the police are saying, is that the area was so contaminated they couldn't go back and investigate and find out. It took them many hours before they could go back into that investigation. So this is the one fatality from that protest, but a lot of people wanting more answers and wanting to know what is going on in Salinas, and that's where this anger came from, because of the fact that there have been 3 police-involved shootings in Salinas this year, and the police chief saying that isn't normal. They just don't have a lot of that there. So emotions are running high in Salinas for sure.